Indeed, the winds of change are sweeping across North Africa in such dramatic fashion that the media is a few steps behind. We have heard that President Hosni Mubarak is no more. He has stepped down. Do you think, Sharif, that the same thing is going to happen to Bouteflika? Can he hang on to power?
I think now it has become much harder for other Arab leaders to hang on to power. I mean, the ouster of Ben Ali in Tunisia started the ball rolling, but Egypt is a much bigger country in terms of its strategic importance in the Middle East and the Arab world. So for Mubarak to fall is a much bigger event in terms of the possible domino effect in the region. So I think the game has really become much harder for Arab leaders to stay in power. And if you look at the demands of much of the protesters in these countries, it's not for reform by the government, it's a change of leadership completely. They are done with these leaders. So for the leaders to change policies, I don't think is enough anymore. They want those leaders out.
Right. Well, I mean, what's your comment? Do you think he can hang on? And how long for? It's speculative, yes.
Yeah, no, this is not only change of the leaders. It's people are asking for the change of the regime, of the radical change of the regimes, all the regimes. Because, for example, when we mention now Mubarak, if you see tomorrow this Suleiman is just the other face of the coin of Mubarak. They are from the same. I mean, if in Egypt they will not get rid of all this nomenclature, all this establishment, they will just repeat things, and what you push from the door, you will get them from the windows.
But from what we hear, the army is in charge now, you know, at least for a transitional phase. And what you said earlier was that it was the army that was in charge in Algeria. Is that likely to continue?
That's the problem, and that's the confusion with the Algerian problem. That's why it's quite complicated, because even if tomorrow we get rid of Bouteflika, we change nothing. Bouteflika is there, they can change. We have changed, the generals have changed 5 presidents in the last 19 years. They toppled one on 92, they killed the second one on June 92, they removed the third one, and they pushed the fourth one out, and they bring Bouteflika the 5th one. While at the same time, the chief of the secret services is still on his position since 1990, and here you will see who is who last and who is just changing.
Right.
So if you take the example of Tunisia, after Ben Ali left the country, the initial interim government was still populated with people from that party, but the people didn't accept that. So they pushed further. They don't want anyone related or part of the party or regimes in power at all.
They've seen through the smoke screen. So are you talking about a higher level of political maturity based on all these years of suffering?
Yeah, people want a blank slate. No one connected to the leadership that they've been trying to
start from. Because what we have had on the last 50, 60 years since the independence, because Africa started to be independent from the middle of the 50s, Algeria it was on 62, Tunisia in 56, and so they have been replaced by even worse than the colonialism itself, by the colon itself. In Algeria, we fight for 132 years to get the criminals, French criminal colonization out. 132 years, and millions have martyrs in that. But after that, the West, and particularly France, played a major role to bring their men, their officers, and even those who fight against the Algerian revolution to the power. And we have, in fact, Algerians, but behind the scene is France.